Welcome back to a brand new Clash Royale video, guys. My name is Chief Pat, and today we're going to be checking out some changes that Clash Royale finally announced, and it's safe to say some of the most annoying cards in the game are finally getting the nerf bat that was desperately needed. Now, some of your favorite cards like the Mortar, Bomb Tower got some changes. We have the Cannon, the Royal Giant, getting some changes as well, including a couple of others, so let's go ahead and break them down one by one. I'll tell you guys a little bit of a summary and what I think of the changes and sort of how they're going to affect play throughout the game. And starting off, the first card they announced that was getting a nerf is obviously the Mortar. So the nerf for the Mortar, its deployment time is going to be increased to 5 seconds, whereas currently it takes 3 seconds. So think of the Expo. The Expo has a 5-second deployment time right now. This will give you plenty of time to react to it, as well as the damage has been decreased by 10%. They said in the post that it's currently too strong, offers too much value for 4 Elixir. So I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't give it an Elixir nerf that I think it desperately needs, bringing it up to 5 Elixir so it isn't so easy to cycle. That's one of the main things about the Mortar. It cycles so quickly, especially into double time, that it sort of just turns into you either lose or you tie the game just because of how annoying it is. So hopefully this helps solve some of the pains that come with the Mortars. I'm just really sick of looking at them, and personally I think they should just be deleted for the game, but I guess this is a start. Let's go ahead and check out the Mortar as it goes into live. And these balance changes, by the way, are going to be live on May the 3rd. Keep that in mind, keep that date in your head, so you'll be seeing these changes in the game on May the 3rd. Okay, so second is the Bomb Tower. I asked you guys what you thought the most annoying single card in the game was, and it was actually the Bomb Tower. I tend to agree with that down in Arena 6, and what they've done to fix that, currently the Bomb Tower's lifetime span is 60 seconds. They decreased it to 40 seconds to keep it in line with the Cannon, keep it in line with the Tesla, and most of the other defenses inside of the game. It was simply too tanky, too dominant inside of the lower arenas. I know myself because I use it. You can see I'm using it in the battles right now, and I'm going up against it obviously as well. It's in almost every single deck, so it's safe to say it definitely needed a nerf. And bringing it down to 40 seconds should definitely help out. No longer can people just turtle against their bomb towers over and over again. And this is a pretty solid change. They didn't touch anything else on it, such as HP or its damage. Honestly, I think its damage is fine. I think it's just its lifespan and hit points that needed to be touched on. So hopefully this is the fix that we'll need, and definitely a step in the right direction. So I really like that change to the bomb tower. Next up is the Elixir Collector. This is probably one of my favorite changes that they announced. They didn't go overboard when nerfing the Elixir Collector. It's definitely a unique card, and it serves a certain value inside of certain decks, such as, you know, like really elixir heavy decks with the P.E.K.K.A. and the Golem, to where you have to get that Elixir Collector down to be able to satisfy the elixir needs of your deck. Well, what they announced is that the hit points of the Elixir Collector are going to be reduced by 20%. Just right now, the Elixir Collector is way too tanky. Again, on my main account, this is a card that I use, so I can definitely say where it's strong and when it's weak. It's just a little bit too tanky. Currently, I use it as both a defense and obviously an elixir profiter, and yeah, 20% HP decrease seems just perfect. So 3 for 3 on the changes. I definitely like what they've done. Again, maybe the Mortar one was a little bit soft, but so far so good. Let's go ahead and keep moving through the changes, going to one that may be the most debatable one, and as something that could open up the Hog Freeze Mania for all. So the Cannon had its hit points decreased by 10%. Now, what they're trying to do by this, I'm not, well, I get it, you know, with the Cannon. The thing is, I think the Cannon actually is a little bit too strong. I think its damage seems a little bit too strong rather than its hit points, but I get it, you know. I feel like you can nerf either of them and probably get the same result. So I agree, the Cannon needed to be touched on, but throughout the rest of these notes, neither the Hog Rider or the Freeze was touched on. Even the Zap didn't get touched on, and the Hog Freeze is already so common. You see it so much in lower arenas, you see it so much in higher arenas. And with the Cannon being the best counter to the Hog Rider inside of the entire game, it's one of the few really positive elixir counters that you have. Even the Bomb Tower was one of the really good counters to the bomb, or for the Hog Rider, and that got nerfed. I feel like this Cannon nerf, if they don't add anything else, is going to make it so the Hog Riders are going to go hog wild. Okay, that's a terrible joke, but the Hog Riders are going to go crazy just because the Cannon is now going to get hit way more. Like, I can drop a Cannon right now, fully maxed out Cannon against a fully maxed out Hog Rider, and will actually just, you know, I won't get any damage on my towers, and my Cannon will die. But with this change, I imagine maybe the Hog Riders still going to get a single hit off. I really just think that if they're going to touch on the Cannon, which again I agree with, I think the Cannon is either a little bit too tanky or does a little bit more damage, but if they were going to do that, they had to add something in for the Hog Rider, which is pretty noticeably missing inside of these notes. Yeah, I think the Hog Rider probably needed to get a little bit touched on, but you know, things can definitely change between now and when the update or whatever this balance change things comes out. But yeah, that is gonna be it for the cannon change. Let's go ahead and move to a buff, which is for the homie, the Royal Giant. That's right, the Royal Giant is getting a range increase by 1. I really like this change. Instead of just buffing his HP and his damage over and over again until he's a good card, they actually made it so he's a little bit more unique. And inside of the blog post, they say that they wanted to increase his range to make it so he's more of a demolitionist. So by demolitionist, he's gonna now outrange most defensive buildings. So if you throw your Royal Giant in, maybe he'll be able to snipe down a cannon. Maybe he'll be able to snipe down some of the other defenses, which is really cool. That's a unique thing that the Royal Giant will have to himself. He doesn't have many things, but he will be a demolitionist, which is actually pretty sweet. And I really like that change. Hopefully it works out. Again, maybe he's just not destined to be in this game, and maybe he should just maybe move over to Clash of Clans. I don't know, but this is a good test to see how he's going to work out with this new change and fix one of his problems where he's just like too fat for troops to get around him. I don't know if that's actually going to be fixed by this, but it'll at least give him something unique where he's outranging some of those defenses. And let's give him a shot. Let's not bash on the Royal Giant too much before we actually get to check out him in action. So next up is the mirror. Now the mirror is going to actually make it so common and rare cards are mirrored 1 level higher. I actually think this is a pretty good change. Again, pretty solid, nothing too amazing. I think the mirror definitely isn't that prevalent in lower levels. I don't see a lot of people running it. Personally, one of the best decks in the game right now at the very top uses the mirror, which is really cool. But it's sort of a niche card. You don't really see it unless it's a very specific deck. So they're trying to increase its play rate and also make it for the new common and elixir caps to where that you can get the cards up to level 13. So for example, if you have a maxed out mirror and you use it on barbarians, then you'll have a level 13 set of barbarians instead of a level 12, how it currently would have been. So mirror's gonna get a 1 level upgrade. A small nerf to the Valkyrie and the Mini P.E.K.K.A, which are actually pretty fascinating. The Valkyrie and the Mini P.E.K.K.A are going to be affected by pushback, for example, when they get hit by a fireball. Pretty cool. I think, you know, both of those cards are decently strong, so this is like sort of a nerf. You know, it's not really that big of a deal. How many people actually run fireball, and how many times does that knockback really affect you? But still some pretty interesting changes. And also, they made it so the range values of all units is fixed. I don't even know how to explain it. It's probably going to be pretty interesting, but you can see a lot of people saw in one of the posts that the range appeared to be a little bit nerfed, but that's really not the case. It's going to be the exact same that it's been. It's just that they made it a little bit more, I don't know, they changed it up a little bit, but don't freak out. The range, the actual range and the effective range is going to be the absolute same, so I don't think too much is really going to be too much different. So yeah, that's it for the balance changes, guys. Let me know what you think with a comment in the comments section below. Do you like the changes? Do you love the changes? Do you think some cards are missing nerfs? Personally, again, I think the Hog Rider, if nothing else changes by the time May 3rd comes around, is going to be even more crazy than it is right now. You're already seeing it so much inside of the game. It's already been so strong since the game went to soft launch. I really feel like even if they went overboard with a little bit of a nerf, it would be nice to mix up the meta inside of the game. So the same card that hasn't been strong for so long inside of the game. So that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. Again, feel free to drop your opinion in the comments section below about the changes. In general, I love them. The Mortar change, the Bomb Tower change, the Elixir Collector change. 3 cards that definitely needed to be tweaked just a bit. Obviously, the Cannon, again, I like the change. I just think the Hog Rider might go crazy because of it. Definitely let me know what you guys think. Let's go ahead and finish off this last battle, though, where I've been playing on my Chief Pat 2 account, and again, using the Bomb Tower in its final days before it finally receives that nerf stick that was waiting for it. So playing off against Buddy Love, he actually tweeted me after this game, which is pretty cool, buddy. Thanks for the game, man. Let's go ahead and keep running. We ended up doing a decent amount of damage on the right-hand side. We didn't have our bomb tower from the beginning, so if you guys might have noticed, I went for a crazy push and got that tower down to 116 HP. He goes for another big push in this right-hand lane, and because of that, I go for a Prince minion push, and he doesn't have any elixir to respond, because he had the Valkyrie, he had the Witch, he had the Bomber. That's 12 elixir total, leaving him completely naked inside of his base, and it just let me steamroll the left-hand side and end up taking that tower. Okay, so Rage Spell is going to go down right now. That was actually pretty expensive. Going to use a single Valkyrie to clean out both of those troops. And now that the tower is down to 116 HP, one swing from the Valkyrie will take it out. And with a minute left, we definitely have a commanding advantage. We have our bomb tower down right now. We do need to watch out for this giant push. It's actually really hard to deal with giants with this deck, especially when he has AoE like the Witch and the Bomber, because he can take out goblins, they can take out minions, and things can get pretty rough. We've got the giant still taking massive damage from our tower as well as the bomb tower, but he ended up smacking it down to 571 HP, but at least we have a little bit of a push we can go on ourselves. So I'm going to keep up the pressure. Let's drop our Prince on this Valkyrie. Musketeer is going to go a little bit wild from the back. We got the baby dragon, which is actually going to the left. That's not going to help him out very much as our minions are being dropped. And he should probably arrow most of the troops I have down, which he will. And with the baby dragon and musketeer going crazy on the tower, we're going to get super close to the 3-star. Let's how far we can get it down to. With 10 seconds left, the arrows are going to go down. Musketeer, unfortunately, just doesn't do enough damage. And with 5 seconds left, this is going to be a 2-crown-to-1 comeback and a very good game against Buddy Love. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, these balance changes, pretty solid all around. If I had to give them a rating, I would say probably 8.5, 9 out of 10. So pretty good to me. But let me know what you guys think. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.